US President Joe Biden has made an appeal to Russian President Vladimir Putin to step back from war with Ukraine. He pointed out that Moscow could cause needless death and destruction, and Putin could face international outrage. Now, Biden delivered a nationally televised speech. He said that 150,000 Russian troops now encircle Ukraine. This is a higher number of troops than previously estimated. There have been reports that Russia has withdrawn some forces. However, according to the US, these reports are unverified and an invasion remains a possibility. Listen in.
The minister reported today that some military units are leaving their positions near Ukraine. That would be good, but we have not yet verified that. We have not yet verified the Russian military units are returning to their home bases. Indeed, our analysts indicate that they remain very much in a threatening position. And the fact remains, right now, Russia has more than 150,000 troops encircling Ukraine and Belarus and along Ukraine's border. The United States is prepared no matter what happens. We are ready with diplomacy, to be engaged in diplomacy with Russia and our allies and partners to improve stability and security in Europe as a whole. And we are ready to respond decisively to Russian attack on Ukraine, which is still very much a possibility.
Biden also pointed out that diplomacy is still an option to win down the crisis. He made it clear that American soldiers were not going to fight in Ukraine. He acknowledged that U.S. action in the conflict would have significant blowback on the American economy. There is a possibility of price hikes and disruption to the nation's energy supply. However, if Russia decides to invade Ukraine, the U.S. and its allies are prepared to respond with penalties, which could lead to economic panic and global isolation.
We'll put intense pressure on their largest and most significant financial institutions and key industries. These measures are ready to go as soon and if Russia moves. Will impose long-term consequences, will undermine Russia's ability to compete economically and strategically. And when it comes to Nord Stream 2, the pipeline that would bring natural gas from Russia to Germany, if Russia further invades Ukraine, it will not happen.
Biden has conducted talks with both Russian President Putin and Ukrainian President Zelensky. U.S. has repeatedly warned Moscow of sanctions against businesses, but he has also laid out a roadmap for a peaceful resolution. There have been talks on missile deployments and military exercises in a bid to reduce tension and restore peace in the region. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov that Washington wants to see a verifiable pullback of Russian forces from Ukraine's border. U.S. State Department has said that during a talk between the two leaders, Blinken emphasized upon the need for a credible and meaningful de-escalation. And WION correspondent Nick Harper sent us this report from Washington, D.C. Take a look.
President Joe Biden used the White House as the backdrop for the update on the situation with Russia. We were told ahead of this speech it was not going to be a change in US policy, but rather an opportunity for the president to lay out where things currently stood with Russia, following claims from Russia that it was beginning to pull back some of its troops from the Ukrainian border. President Biden said a Russian invasion was still very much a possibility. And while that pullback, he said, would be good, the US had not yet verified it. He said that US analysts, from the satellite imagery they had reviewed, believe that Russian troops remain very much in a threatening position, and therefore the president concluded that an invasion was still distinctly possible. NATO has also taken a sceptical position on those Russian claims, and therefore President Biden said that the US remained ready for no matter what happened. He said that America was ready with diplomacy, but also ready to respond decisively. He also defended the US decision taken on Monday to move the US embassy from Kyiv to Lviv, moving embassy staff out of the Ukrainian capital over fears that it could be invaded by Russia. He said that because Russia still had more than 150,000 troops massed on the border, it was only right and prudent that the US should be moving its embassy staff. So an update from the United States in this slow-moving battle of diplomacy. But at this stage, the president saying that even though Russia is claiming that it is de-escalating, an invasion is still a possibility. Nick Harper, Washington.